Hello, everyone. My name is Emma, and today I want to talk with you about something that can truly change your life: positive thinking. This is a video podcast for people who are learning English and want to improve their listening skills while also learning something useful and meaningful for life. So, whether you are on the bus, at home with a cup of tea, or at the gym, I am really happy you are here with me today. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Your support really means a lot to me and to this community we are building together. So, let's jump in. Part 2. What is positive thinking? Really? Let me start with a question. When you hear the words positive thinking, what comes to your mind? Maybe you think, oh, that is just fake happiness, or smile all the time and pretend everything is fine. Or maybe even, I understand why people think this. Because unfortunately, positive thinking is often misunderstood. It is often shown in movies or social media as something unrealistic, something for people who have perfect lives. But that is not what positive thinking really means. Real positive thinking is not about denying reality. It is not about pretending that problems do not exist. It is not about being happy all the time. Real positive thinking is about how you talk to yourself when something goes wrong. Let me repeat that, because I think it is one of the most important ideas in this podcast. Positive thinking is about your inner dialogue, the conversation you have with yourself inside your head. Instead of asking yourself, why does this always happen to me? You ask, what can I learn from this situation? Instead of thinking, I am so bad at this, you think, I am still learning, and that is okay. Such a small change in the words you use, but such a huge difference in how you feel. Life is unpredictable. Plans fail. People disappoint us. Mistakes happen to all of us. Every single day, things do not go as we expected. And positive thinking helps you stay emotionally stable when this happens. It helps you stay calm, focused, and ready to move forward. Let me tell you a very common story. I am sure many of you have experienced something similar. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning. You look at your phone and realize you overslept. The alarm did not go off, or maybe you turned it off in your sleep. You jump out of bed, you run to get ready, but it is too late. You miss the bus, and now you are going to be late for work or school. Now pause for a moment. What is the first thought in your head? Reaction A, the negative response. This day is already ruined. I am so irresponsible. I can never do anything right. Everyone at work is going to judge me. Why does this always happen to me? Now, how do you feel after those thoughts? Probably stressed, probably anxious, maybe even a little hopeless. You still have to go to work, but now with all that heavy emotional weight on your shoulders. Reaction B, the positive response. Okay, I am late today. It happens. It is not ideal, but it is one morning out of my entire life. I will send a quick message, explain the situation, and do my best for the rest of the day. How do you feel now? You probably feel calmer, more in control. And you still have the same problem. You are late, but now you can actually think clearly and deal with it. Notice something very important here. The situation is exactly the same. You were late both times. Only the thought changed. But the emotional result is completely different. This is the power of positive thinking. It does not change your problems, but it changes how you face them. So let me ask you, and I really want you to think about this. Which version of yourself do you want to be? The person who freezes and falls apart? Or the person who takes a breath and keeps going? You might be thinking, okay, Emma, this sounds nice, but does it actually work? And the answer is yes. And science agrees. Our thoughts have a direct impact on three very important things: our emotions, our behavior, and our physical health. Let me explain each one. When we think negatively on a regular basis, we start to feel exhausted. We feel anxious. We feel like we are not good enough. We start to doubt ourselves. And over time, this can lead to burnout. When we think more positively, we feel more energized. We feel more capable. Challenges feel manageable. Here's something fascinating. Our thoughts literally change what we do. If you believe my English is improving every day, you will practice more. You will try harder. Psychologists call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. What you believe about yourself, you tend to make true. This one surprises many people. Negative thoughts can actually cause physical problems like headaches. Positive thinking helps your nervous system relax. This is not magic. This is biology. As the old saying goes, as you think, so you become. Your thoughts shape who you are. Let's talk about work, because this is where most people feel the most stress. Many are terrified of mistakes. They worry that if they make even one error, their boss will fire them or colleagues will think they are incompetent. This leads to something dangerous. People stop trying new things. They play it safe and stop growing. But there is the positive mindset. I made a mistake. Now I know what not to do next time. This is what experts call a growth mindset. People with this believe their abilities can be developed. There is a famous saying in business, we can teach skills, but we cannot teach attitude. So if you want to grow in your career, cultivate a positive mindset, ask more questions, be curious. Now let's talk about something that affects all of us deeply, our relationships with friends, family, partners, and colleagues. Here is a situation I am sure you have experienced. You send a message to a close friend. An hour passes, 2 hours, 3 hours, no reply. What do you think? The negative interpretation. They are ignoring me. They do not care about me. Did I do something wrong? Maybe they are angry at me. And suddenly you are upset, even a little angry. You might spend the rest of the day feeling hurt and confused. But here is the truth. You do not actually know why they did not reply. You made an assumption, and that assumption came from a negative place. The positive interpretation, they are probably just busy right now. They will reply when they have time. There is no reason to panic. Everything is fine. This small shift in thinking saves so much unnecessary pain. It protects your relationships. It prevents conflicts that did not need to happen. Idiom: don't jump to conclusions. This means don't decide what you think happened before you have all the information. Wait, observe, and then respond. Positive thinking means giving people the benefit of the doubt, trusting that most people are doing the best they can. Okay, I want to stop here and address something very important, because I do not want anyone listening to this to misunderstand what I am saying. Positive thinking does not mean ignoring your problems and hoping they go away, pretending everything is fine when it is not, suppressing your emotions and forcing yourself to smile, avoiding responsibility for your mistakes, living in denial. None of that is positive thinking. That is called toxic positivity, and it is actually harmful. Real positive thinking means facing your problems with courage and rationality, acknowledging what is wrong and believing you can deal with it. You can say to yourself, this situation is really difficult. I do not like it, but I can handle it. I will figure it out step by step. That sentence is honest. It acknowledges the difficulty, but it also affirms your ability to cope. That is the balance we are aiming for. Problems are real, pain is real, challenges are real, and positive thinking does not erase them. But it gives you the mental and emotional strength to walk through them, instead of being stopped by them. Let me talk about emotions for a moment, because this is something that confuses many people. Some people believe that if you think positively, you should always feel happy. You should never feel sad, never feel angry, never feel tired or frustrated. This is completely wrong. It is completely normal and healthy to feel difficult emotions. Sadness, anger, fear, disappointment. These are part of the human experience. Positive thinking asks you to process them in a healthy way. You feel the emotion. You do not push it away. You acknowledge it. You say to yourself, I am feeling angry right now. That is okay. You give yourself time to process it. And then, when you are ready, you choose to move forward. You do not let the emotion define you permanently. Idiom: feel it, then let it go. This beautiful expression reminds us that emotions are visitors, not permanent residents. The problem is when we get stuck. When we replay the same painful thoughts again and again, like a song on repeat. Positive thinking helps us break that cycle. It is a beautiful way to live. So, what do you think? Part 9. The mind-body connection. Let me share something that I find absolutely fascinating about positive thinking, and that is its effect on your physical body. Scientists have studied this for many years, and the results are remarkable. When we experience chronic stress and think negatively for long periods, our body produces a hormone called cortisol. Too much cortisol in the body can cause poor sleep quality, muscle tension, and headaches, digestive problems, a weakened immune system, low energy, and chronic fatigue. These are not small problems. These are serious health risks, and many of them begin with the way we think. On the other hand, when we practice positive thinking and gratitude, our brain produces different chemicals, including dopamine and serotonin. These are sometimes called happiness chemicals. They help us feel calm, motivated, and energized. Your thoughts are deeply connected to your body. This is why meditation, gratitude practices, and positive self-talk are not just nice ideas. They are forms of healthcare. Part 10. Positive Thinking for English Learners. Now I want to speak directly to you, as someone who is learning English. Learning a language is one of the most challenging things a person can do. It requires time, patience, and a lot of courage. And I know that sometimes the inner critic gets very loud. You know that voice, the one that says, "My English is terrible. I will never speak fluently. People are laughing at my accent. I am too old to learn." I want you to challenge every one of those thoughts. "My English is terrible" becomes "My English is improving every single day." "I will never speak fluently" transforms to "Fluency takes time, and I am on the right path." "I am too old to learn" becomes "The brain can learn at any age, and I am proving that right now." Which thought gives you energy to keep going? The answer is obvious. Choose the one that fuels your progress. Idiom. Slow progress is still progress. Every step forward counts, no matter how small it is. You are here, right now, listening to this podcast in English. That is not nothing. That is something to be proud of. Every minute of listening, every word you understand, every mistake you learn from, it all adds up. Trust the process. We know why it matters. Now let's get practical. Positive thinking is a skill that needs daily practice. Here are key habits you can start using today. Habit 1. Change your inner dialogue. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. If you wouldn't say it to your best friend, don't say it to yourself. Replace criticism with curiosity. Habit 2. Focus on progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is the enemy. Celebrate small wins. If you learned something new this week, that is progress, and it's worth celebrating. Habit 3. Practice daily gratitude. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It literally rewires your brain to automatically look for the good in every situation. Finally, be patient. This is a long-term practice. There will be tough days, and that's normal. Just rest, and tomorrow, begin again, one day at a time. Part 12. Real Benefits Summary. Let's take a moment to review why this all matters. When you practice positive thinking consistently over time, research shows real, measurable improvements in work performance and productivity, learning speed, and memory retention, in the quality of personal relationships, sleep quality, and physical health, emotional stability, resilience, and the willingness to take on new challenges. These are not abstract ideas. These are things you will actually feel and notice in your daily life. People who practice positive thinking handle pressure more effectively. And here is something truly beautiful. Positive thinking is contagious. When you bring a positive energy, you influence the people around you. You make your workplace a little better, your friendships a little warmer. One person with a positive mindset can genuinely change the atmosphere of an entire room. Part 13. Mini reflection. Exercise. I want to give you a little exercise before we move into the vocabulary section. This will only take about 2 minutes, and I think it can be quite powerful. I want you to think of a recent situation that felt stressful or difficult. It could be something from work, a mistake, or a moment you felt overwhelmed. Now, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions and really take a moment with each one. Question number 1. What exactly happened? Just the facts. What actually occurred? Not your interpretation, just the facts. Take a second to see it clearly. Number 2, how did I react? What did I think, feel, and do in that moment? Was my reaction helpful? Number 3, how could I have reacted differently? If I had a calmer, more positive mindset, what might I have thought or done instead? There is no right or wrong answer here. The goal is simply awareness. Because once you become aware of your patterns, you gain the power to change them. This kind of self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. I encourage you to do it regularly, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself better. Now we arrive at one of the most important parts of our podcast, the vocabulary section. I have selected key words from today's episode that I really want you to learn and remember. These are at the B2 level, so they are a little more advanced, but native speakers use them every day. Welcome back. Today we're exploring 5 powerful words to help you describe your emotions and growth. Let's dive in. First is toxic positivity. This is the idea that we must always think positively, even when our pain is valid and natural. It's harmful because it tells people to just be happy, which actually makes them feel worse. Real healing requires acknowledging real pain. Next, we have persevere. To persevere means to keep going through something difficult, even when progress feels slow or discouraging. Think of learning a language. It requires you to press on, even on days when everything feels impossible. That is perseverance. Then there's cultivate. Originally an agricultural word, it now means to slowly develop a skill or habit through consistent attention. You don't become confident overnight. You cultivate it by practicing every day until it becomes natural. Now, acknowledge. This means to accept or admit that a feeling is real, rather than ignoring or suppressing it. The first step to managing anxiety is simply to acknowledge you're feeling it. If it hurts, and that's valid. We all do this. Overthink. It's when you think about something too much and too deeply, causing stress instead of solutions. Like replaying a boss's text for hours. Overthinking isn't problem solving, it just makes the problem feel bigger. Finally, cope with. This is about handling a difficult situation effectively, even if you can't solve it completely. Coping mechanisms, like meditation or talking to friends, help you navigate stress without being overwhelmed. So, which of these words resonates with you today? Take a second to reflect. You've got this. And now we come to the end of today's episode, and I just want to take a moment to say something to you directly. You are here. You listened to an hour-long podcast in English. Whether you understood every single word or not, that is something remarkable. You are growing, you are learning, and that matters more than you know. Today we talked about positive thinking, and the most important thing I want you to take away from this episode is this. Positive thinking is not about being perfect. It is not about smiling when you feel like crying. It is not about pretending your life is wonderful when it is hard. It is about growth. It is about resilience. It is about giving yourself and others a little more kindness and patience. It is about changing the way you talk to yourself, gently, consistently, over time. And when you do that, slowly, your whole life begins to shift. Small changes in thoughts, real changes in life. I believe in you, and I hope that after today, you believe in yourself a little more too. Thank you for watching and listening. If this episode helped you, subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Tell me, which word from today did you find most useful? I read every single one. See you next time.